This is Jalen Conwell, and this is No BS, All NBA. And today I'm going to talk about the downfall of supposedly the biggest show in sports, First Take. Now, First Take started in 2012 with Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless was the face of ESPN, and Skip Bayless brought in Stephen A. Smith. He said, Stephen A., I'm trying to do this new show. The cold pieces format's getting kind of old. Let's change it up. Let's do a 50-50 style show. Me and you get 50% of it, I get 50% of it, and we make it a debate show. And they did it, and it became the biggest show on ESPN. Number one 4 years, It got so big that ESPN couldn't afford to keep Stephen A. and to keep Skip Bayless. So Skip ended up going to FS1, and he ended up starting Undisputed with Shannon Sharpe, and Undisputed has become a big hit, become one of the biggest shows on sports television. So at the same time, First Take brings in Stephen A. with I believe it was a $10 million contract or something like that, and Stephen A. handpicks Max Kellerman to be his co-host. This was all in 2016. Now, I started watching First Take in 2016, right before Skip left. So I didn't get to see too much of Skip watching it, even though it's been a few years, and I've gone back and I've watched it, and a lot of Skip and a lot of retro videos of Skip and Stephen A. together. And I'll say Stephen A. and Skip definitely had a much better chemistry than Stephen A. and Max. I think it was because Skip is an emotional style debater, and so is Stephen A. Stephen A. has this bombastic personality, and so does Skip Bayless. So they kind of clash together. Max Kellerman isn't like that. Max Kellerman is more like a logic-based debater. He's going to bring facts, and Stephen A. is not like that. So the chemistry-wise, I definitely think that Skip Bayless and Stephen A. were a better fit. But I still enjoyed Max Kellerman with Stephen A., and especially back then because I didn't have much to compare it to, because I only got to see maybe 3 months or so with Skip and Stephen A. together. So I'm watching it, and I'm enjoying it. 2017 comes around, and this is when I started looking at Stephen A. differently. The whole Colin Kaepernick stuff. He just started calling Kaepernick out for no reason. Well, his reason was because Kaepernick didn't vote, which, okay, people have the right to vote or to not vote. Over 50% of the country does not vote. So you're going to call Kaepernick out because saying that his protest is not valid because he didn't vote? To me, that's ridiculous. That's insane. To say his protest is invalid because he didn't vote. Let me remind you who we had to vote. Our choices were in 2016. It was Hillary Clinton and Donald fucking Trump. I didn't vote for those guys neither. So you mean to tell me that you're going to invalidate this guy's whole argument because he didn't vote for either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton? Come on now, Stephen A. So right then I started looking at Stephen A. sideways, but I still enjoyed the show, so I still watched every day. But I started to notice, because even after that, it's just like he wouldn't drop the Kaepernick stuff. And then I remember, I think it was 2018, when the NFL, it might have been 2019, but I think it was 2018, the NFL gave Kaepernick like a fake tryout. And Kaepernick, wanted to have his own location. He wouldn't sign his paperwork. And Stephen A. Smith was coming at Colin Kaepernick's head. And Max Kellerman was the one defending Colin Kaepernick, spitting straight facts, saying, wait a minute, Stephen A., it's not because he didn't want to show up. It's because the NFL was trying to do something for him, giving him paperwork they never gave nobody else. They don't even want the media there. So let's be real. So Stephen A., that's another thing started to throw me off. So here comes Terrell Owens. Is around the same time. So that had to be 2019 because it was around the same time. Terrell Owens comes on the show. And Terrell Owens comes on the show and he tells Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman seems blacker than you. And I was watching that and I said, man, I've been saying that for years, man, because it's the truth. It wasn't just the Kaepernick situation. A bunch of situations. Stephen A. Smith coming on there talking about stay off the weed and judging these NFL players NBA players and NFL players for smoking weed and stuff like that, coming at them to the nth degree. But when a white NFL player does something, I can't remember his name, but you guys know I'm talking about, Drew Brees, or not Drew Brees. Drew Brees did say some wild shit, but like, it was about 2 years ago, the white NFL player beat the fuck out of his girlfriend, and you didn't hear Stephen A. Smith say anything about that. But let a black NFL player go out there and smoke some weed, and you're going to see Stephen A. Smith dog him out, and it goes to show. So a year later, about a year or two later, Kwame Brown comes on, just comes out of the blue and just starts going after everybody. But the main culprit was Stephen A. Smith. And he said, Stephen A., you've made your career by dissing black men, by calling out black men. You did a whole tour going around the country on college campuses, calling out me, an 18-year-old teenager. I'm the #1 draft pick. I'm in the NBA 12 years, and the whole time he was in the NBA, Stephen A. Smith dogged him, and you can find the clips today. Stephen A. wouldn't even call that man by the name his mama gave him, and because of that, he got mama's cooking, and he didn't even respond to none of the stuff that Kwame said about him. Instead, he went on his show, Stephen A's World, which to me, I think that says everything that you need to know about Stephen A, what he thinks of himself, to name his show Stephen A's World, how conceited he is. But he went on there and showed a blooper reel of Kwame Brown and just triple down on everything that Kwame said about him. And he didn't even address it, but he proved Kwame's point. And to me, man, Stephen A. just looked bad. And that wasn't the only thing he did this year. He was mispronouncing I believe it was I don't know what country it was, but I believe it was an African country, mispronouncing the players' names, and then going out saying that an Asian player can't be the face of the NBA, of the MLB, if he doesn't speak English. Even though the guy does speak English, he just uses a translator, so it won't be any confusion. It was just a lot of bullshit going on with Stephen A. And instead of ESPN removing Stephen A., who had to come out and apologize all this time, I never saw Max Kellerman have to come out and apologize. They removed Max Kellerman from the show. I remember I woke up and say Max Kellerman, rumor Max Kellerman going to be removed from First Take. So I'm what? Wow. Why? And it's Stephen A. Smith comes out on Hot 97, and he defiantly comes on there like, yeah, it was me. I got him off the show, just like that. Arrogant as possible. Said I got him off the show. Basically said that he had been trying to get Max Kellerman kicked off the show for at least 2 years. And to me, right there when he said that, what happened 2 years ago? The whole Terrell Owens, Max Kellerman is blacker than you. And not just that, I think that Stephen A. knew that he could not debate Max Kellerman. Now, even though Max Kellerman said a lot of off-the-wall things like, if the fate of the world is on the line, give me Eagle Dollar. Stephen A. has said a lot of off-the-wall stuff too. Let's not forget that this guy, let's not pretend like he's Nostradamus, man. This guy predicted the NBA playoffs wrong every year for like 7 years, and he only predicted it right when Kevin Durant joined Steph Curry and Klay Thompson when they couldn't lose, man. It's the same guy that just like 2 months ago said that Donovan Mitchell is a better player than Karl Malone. Let's be serious. So he comes out, he gets Max Kellerman removed. And it was like, man, he had been, even before this, for at least the last 2 years, he had been disrespecting Max Kellerman. And to me, it seemed personal. So when the reports came out, there was a lot of reports coming out like Stephen A. and Max don't get along. I didn't need those reports. I watched the show. Stephen A. was coming at Max personally every episode, telling him to zip it and your opinion doesn't matter, all type of stuff that Skip Bayless never did to Stephen A. You know, stuff that Skip Bayless never does to Shannon Sharp. You know, it's like a 50-50 partnership. Well, Stephen A does that, and now they bring on rotating guests. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Even before that, I stopped watching the First Take for the most part. I would watch it every once in a while because I really liked Max Kellerman, and I respected his opinion. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was wild a lot of times, I respected his opinion. But once he left, I probably watched maybe 3 episodes of First Take, and it's only been when Kendrick Perkins has been on. So I can't tell you about any of these rotating guests, but it's basically now just Stephen A's show, and he has rotating guests on different days. I'll say I like Kendrick Perkins, and I think him and Kendrick Perkins could have just did the show together full time, and I think that would have really worked, because apparently I'm not the only one that stopped watching First Take. First Take has completely plummeted in the ratings, man. Plummeted. Has gone from #1 on ESPN to not #2, not #3, what LeBron say, not 4, down to like 5, man. Get Up is beating it. NFL Live, Around the Horn, Pardon the Interruption. If you would have told me a year ago, 2 years ago, even 6 months ago, that Get Up would be getting better ratings than First Take, I wouldn't have believed it. Any of those shows, except for maybe Pardon the Interruption, I wouldn't have believed it. It's even days where I check where Undisputed is getting better ratings than First Take, which I think it should have been the whole time, but it's on FS1. That's not how it works. I remember 2 years ago or so, First Take was getting like 2-3 times the viewership of Undisputed. And now they're losing the Undisputed in the ratings, man. It's crazy. And I think what all that goes to show is that Stephen A. Smith, you thought that you were the king shit. You thought that you were the top dog, and just as easy as you rose, man, you failed so much quicker. I mean, just look at it. Max has only been off the show 3 weeks. You were #1. Now you're 5, 6. Come on now, it's been 3 weeks. Most likely the ratings are going to continue to plummet if they don't change it. This big $20 million contract or whatever you get, man, I respect you for getting it. But when you come out and you make statements like, I wake up every morning trying to make some money for a white man or trying to make money for my boss, people start to look at that and like, wait a minute. So you don't have no integrity. You could just, anybody could just give you some money and you gonna say whatever they tell you to say. And then that's been shown, man. He has never really addressed what Colin Kaepernick is really protesting. He always tries to find something that doesn't matter to throw in it. Colin Kaepernick, who he voted for or him not voting, had nothing to do with nothing. You know, and it just shows you, you know, you need to watch who you disrespect, watch who you cut, because those might be the same people you might need going around, and you need to have some integrity, because eventually people are going to start seeing the real you, and it's going to catch up. This has been No BS, All NBA.